Alright, now part 5 of the Refex presentation, a refreshable Excel workbook made from a stored procedure in Microsoft Dynamics GP. We've made the parameter page and create a couple of groups so that we can collapse regions of parameters on that parameters page. But now we have the next stage to go through here for our workbook, and it involves the data tab and the connections, so that we look at the properties of the query that we've created as the data source for this workbook. I've gone to the connections option on the data tab. We got the workbook connections dialog box, and then I clicked on properties to give the connection properties. Connection properties has got a couple things that we can change here. We can change the name if you wish to. The description is I'll put a description. This is a stored procedure data source from Fabricam for HATB. Okay, doesn't matter what that is. This we can leave all the way it is, although I do want to point out that you should not check this box. Refresh the data when opening the file. We want to leave the refresh to be the user initiates it at all times. Alright, here is our definition. We've got the connection string here. This is not terribly important. This is all taken care of. It shows me that my database is the TWO, the World Online Database. And here is the command text with all those question marks that we put in. The key for this connection properties dialog box is the parameters button. Okay, here they are, parameter 1 through 32. I'm going to go back here and scroll back up to the 32 parameters that we had in the stored procedure itself. And I wish that this parameters box had one feature that it does not have. 2013 doesn't have this either. The parameters are numbered 1 through 32, and it looks like that I can change the parameter name to something else. But the trouble is that that's only on the radio button for prompt for value using the following string. So that means that when we refresh the data on this workbook, it goes through every single parameter, just as I did when I was creating the link in the first place, the connection to the data source. And I'd have to, answer every single question and put in values for every single one. No, I don't want to do that. I want to do this. I want to get the value from the following cell. There are two ways to do that. One is to click on the button, which gives me this little parameters pop up right here, and it lets me point at the cell, and it copies the value, or not the value of the cell, but the location of the cell, into the parameters box. I press the enter key, and it copies that into this region right here. I'm going to move this guy down here, and I'm going to show you the second way to enter the parameter. Go to the second parameter, which is the starting customer number, and if I look over here I see it, to starting customer number. I still have to click this, but instead of clicking the button, I'm just going to put my cursor in this cell and click here. So I save myself a step essentially. I don't have to open up yet another dialog box. I can stay in this one, and I can go a little bit more quickly. The third parameter is the ending customer number. The fourth parameter is the starting customer name. The fifth parameter is the ending customer name. So, I'm going to go through all this one at a time. Do you want to watch me do this? I think not. So I'm going to pause the video recording, and then I'm going to fill all these in for you without you having to watch me. And I've gone through the first 30 parameters. I'm going to do the last two. Parameter 31 is the exclude unposted applied credit documents. And there, and then finally parameter number 32. Okay, the only thing to watch out for here is I put all the start and end parameters in this block, but there's one that's inserted in between the user-defined start and end and the transaction date start and end. If we look over here, we see that it's using document date. That's parameter number 22. And in our Excel workbook, that parameter is this one here, date to age by. So if I look at parameter number 22, you see that it's pointing to cell B18. And then parameter 23 jumps back up to row 16 to get the starting transaction date. That's parameter 23, and parameter 24 is cell C16, which is the ending transaction date. So just watch that. I put them a little bit out of order. It doesn't. This layout is not sacred. You could put the date to age by up above the transaction date. I just grouped them this way, so all the numeric ones are below and all the start-end ones are above. That's all it did. There's nothing important about the way these are arranged. I could put the start and end one above the other, so I'd have this long column of parameters instead of two columns of parameters. But I wanted to show information for the user. Now I've got all 32 parameters typed in, and I click OK. I'm going to leave this box unchecked. I don't want it to refresh automatically when a cell value changes. That takes too long. Believe me, the historical aging for real live data takes quite a bit longer than this one for the Fabricam test data. So I'll click OK, and we're back to the connection properties dialog box. I'll click OK here, and then the workbook connections I'll close. Okay, nothing has changed here. It's all behind the scenes, but now I've got the date changed to March 31st. I'm going to go back over here to the HATB tab, and I'm going to look for a date. I've got let's see, there's a document number, description, transaction amounts, sales amounts, and where is the date? Here we go. Document date, due date, the general ledger posting date. If I sort this right here from the newest to the oldest, it goes up to February 1st. That was our transaction, or the date of the aging when I created the table as the sample date. Now I've got the parameter set to March 1st, and I'm going to refresh all the data. That's all you have to do is click the refresh all, and you'll see momentarily the information here at the bottom in the status bar. But now you see that the dates, the GL posting date and the transaction date, that's all changed. Go back to the parameters tab, and I change that to 1/1/2016. By the way, I can use regular dates in this field. I don't have to worry about 2016-01-01. I can use dates that humans can read. Come back here and refresh all, and our dates will change. We see that in the Fabricam database. The transactions, the posting date ends at May of 2015, and this one is some transaction that was entered for the 1st of January 2016. As you know, in Fabricam, the dates go all the way up to 2017, I think into 2018. But for our purposes, this works out just fine. So you can see the date changing there. Okay. I do want to point out a couple of things here before we get to creating a pivot table. Actually, I will stop here. We'll do the pivot table in the next segment because this is already almost 11 minutes long. So stay tuned for the next segment.